Welcome into Scoops with Danny Mac. I'm Dan McLaughlin. This is a new show airing Sunday nights right here on Fox Channel 2. Now, this show will have interviews, features, profiles on sports' biggest names that you know. And tonight we focus on the St. Louis Blues. The last time that we saw the St. Louis Blues, they were in the bubble. And still with the Blues, they had names of Petro, Alex Steen, Jay Bouwmeester, and others. And now, we're just 3 days away from dropping the puck on another season. It's upon us. We will visit with one of the all-time great defensemen in St. Louis Blues history tonight. That's Hockey Hall of Famer Chris Pronger. He'll be my guest as we talk hockey and travel. Yeah, that's right, travel with Chris Pronger. Bernie Miklasz has been covering the Blues for decades. He writes daily columns on the website scoopswithdannymac.com. We'll get his thoughts on the upcoming season as well. But to kick things off, we get the chance to visit with one of the all-time greats in St. Louis Blues hockey history, NHL Hall of Famer, one of our favorites here in St. Louis, and that is Bernie Federko. Bernie, great to see you. How are things going?
Dan, everything's going real well. You know what? Hockey's starting real soon, so got to be pretty excited about it.
What are you most looking forward to with this NHL season?
Well, I'm actually trying to look for some type of normalcy. I think would be nice. I mean, it's going to be different, obviously, with the Blues in a different division and, no play against the other conferences at all. So, I mean, I think that's going to be a little bit different. But, I mean, I'm just looking back to see the guys playing for real. They're playing in their own buildings. They're going to be playing on the road. It's not going to be in a bubble per se, as if just, one bubble like it was in Edmonton. So I think the guys still, even though there's not going to be any fans in the stands to start, I think that the guys are much more excited to do it this way than they would if they had to go back in a bubble.
How about the additions of Torrey Krug and Hoffman and what that can do for the St. Louis Blues power play?
Well, Danny, that's always important. The specialty teams are so important in any game, and to have a guy like Hoffman on the team would be absolutely outstanding. Here's a guy that scores, 30 goals a year. He's a sniper. He's a left-handed shot, too, especially with Vladdy Tarasenko out for maybe most of the season. To have Hoffman there scoring goals, I think that's very important to set up. He's got a great one-timer, and he plays the right side with being a left-hand shot on the right side. So, I mean, that's going to have great effect. And obviously, Torrey Krug, when Doug Armstrong went after Torrey Krug, he wanted somebody that could be the quarterback on the power play. And for what we've seen that Krug has done in Boston, he's the guy that can be that catalyst to set things up from the point on the power play. So I think both those guys offensively are going to be just an absolutely outstanding addition to this hockey club, not only on the power play, but even at regular strength as well.
What are you expecting out of Jordan Binnington now in his free agency year? He was so good before the team went into the bubble, wasn't very good when the team was in the bubble. What are you expecting this year?
Yeah, Jordan Binnington was not himself when they were in the bubble. I will honestly say that. And I don't think the entire team was, though, Danny. I think the team was kind of out of the mix right now. I mean, to see where they were, when they were the second best record in the National Hockey League at the time, to have to go into that kind of situation, I think was tough for them. But they're going to count on Jordan Binnington. And I do. I mean, I think Jordan Binnington has a great attitude. He's one of those guys that hates to lose. He knows that he wants to prove to everybody that he's just not a flash in the pan. And I think he proved that during the regular season last year. Unfortunately, things didn't work out well in the playoffs, but he is still the key to this hockey club. Now, he was the major reason that the Blues won the Stanley Cup 2 years ago, and he's going to have to be a factor. I mean, obviously, no Jake Allen now. To have, a backup that's going to be inexperienced as well is going to be really hard on Jordan. So I think there's extra pressure on him. But I think that with that being said, I think he can handle it, and I think that the players in front of them, everybody wants to play in front of Jordan Binnington. He's a gritty guy that will make the big save when they need, and I think that everybody will be excited defensively to make sure that they help out as well.
So you got to have a pretty good backup this year because there's so many games in a condensed schedule. You mentioned no Jake Allen, so Billy Husso is going to get that opportunity. What can you tell fans about the backup now of the St. Louis Blues?
Well, I don't know much about him, Danny. I just hear that he had great numbers when he played in San Antonio. I mean, he was a big factor in the American League. And from what I've been told, he's really paid his dues and he's ready to get a chance to play in the National Hockey League. That's no different than any young goaltender. We saw what Binnington did when he got called up in the middle of the season. So I think that this is a way for Billy to get really his feet wet. I think he's in a situation where he wants to help the team. And will Doug Armstrong want to bring in a veteran goaltender at some point in time to maybe settle things down? We'll have to wait and see that. But I think that this is an opportunity for Billy, and I think this is an opportunity, Danny, for entirely new kind of defensive core right now. I mean, no Alex Pietrangelo, that's 25 minutes a game, so someone's going to have to pick up the slack. I expect that Justin Falk will be the guy that they'll count on more from the right side to bring a little more to the team this year. Now that he's been a little more comfortable, I think that we'll see Scandello in a situation playing with Parayko. They'll be the shutdown pair, and of course we know what Krug can do. But you've got Dunn that re-signed a contract. You've got Gunnarsson. You've got Bortuzzo. So this is still a good defense, but I think they have to prove themselves now because Alex Pietrangelo was really the backbone of that defense. And now all of a sudden he's not here, and the Blues are going to have to really move beyond that very quickly.
It's not only Petro, but it's Steen and it's Bouwmeester. What do you think that's going to be like missing that trio?
Well, you're going to have to look for new leadership. And, the Blues have named O'Reilly as the captain. And I think that's a great place for him to be. I mean, he is the leader in this hockey club. He proved that during the Stanley Cup run, winning the Conn Smythe. He's won the Selke. He should have, I thought, won it last year again. But he's that kind of player that leads by example. He's the first guy on the ice, last guy off during practice. He's always got some different drills, and the way he plays with his heart on the ice all the time. So, I mean, he's the new leader, but there's still a lot of young guys on this team that now are in a situation they are going to have to be the leaders now. Guys like Schenn, guys like Schwartz. We mentioned the guys on the blue line, Parayko. I mean, these all kinds of guys now that they have to, they get an opportunity to be leaders and not just on the ice, but in the locker room as well. And I think that is a good test for a lot of the young, good quality players that the Blues have.
Hey, Bernie, you're the best. Looking forward to the telecast this year again on Fox Sports Midwest. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Danny. Always a pleasure. It should be a good year, and let's look forward to maybe another Stanley Cup run.
Coming up, he played 18 years in the National Hockey League, with 9 of those spent in St. Louis with the Blues. Now he's running a luxury travel agency, Well Inspired Travels. Hockey Hall of Famer Chris Pronger is coming up next. Scoops with Danny Mac is brought to you by Schnucks, Blue Fuse, Royal Banks of Missouri, and Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert.
I think we've done a really good job, everyone, coming in and knowing that, like you said, it's going to be a shortened camp. We're going right into it. There's going to be a ton of hockey. I just feel guys mentally are more prepared and obviously physically too. I think the coaching staff trusts us that, we have to be ready to go, and I think we are. Now it's just putting in the details in camp and fine tuning everything. But it's I think it's looked good so far. But we still have to keep going.
That is the captain of the St. Louis Blues in 2021. One of the great captains in Blues history is Chris Pronger, and he joins us now. Chris, great to see you. How are things going?
Fantastic. 2021 is off to a great start.
Hey, it is 2020. That's a good thing.
I made it through 2020, and now I get to spend my early 2021 with you, so I'm all set.
I love it. Hey, what is Ryan O'Reilly in store for? When, it's one thing to wear an A, it's another thing to wear a C. So what's he in store for when you wear a C and you're doing it in this town with the St. Louis Blues?
Well, I think with their team, obviously a veteran group and coming off winning the Cup a couple years ago, I think expectations are high. I think they, as a team, as a leadership group, ownership, management, I think coaching staff, I think they have high expectations for their team. I think they can compete and win another Stanley Cup. So I think having seen how his first year went, obviously that roller coaster season that everybody talks about, you look at kind of how he led quietly and with his play and his ability to compete night in, night out. I don't know how much of a vocal leader he is. I think he's a lead by example and put the time and effort in preparation to succeed and be successful each and every night. He puts the blades on to play the game. And, I know he's a hockey junkie and someone who loves being at the rink, loves playing the game, loves everything about the game. And, that's infectious. That type of attitude is what you want in a captain.
It was one thing to go into the bubble and play with no fans. You knew that was going to be the case, but you kind of had that carrot because you were playing in the playoffs. The Stanley Cup was there, but now you're starting in the regular season. You're starting in square one. What do you think that's going to be like for the players?
It's going to be different. Again, no fans. They've got their own divisional rivalries now, and getting to play teams 8-10 times a season. We're getting back to the good old days. So it'll be interesting to see the rivalries get rekindled and see how playing each other so often is going to affect how the games are played, the intensity, the tenacity of some players, and how that kind of boils over from game to game. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think it's an adjustment certainly to no fans. Not hearing that energy and electricity in the air, and sometimes that pick me up that you need from your home crowd, or sensing the deflation of a road crowd, and as you put your foot on the other team's throat. So it's it's an adjustment, that's for sure. But I think having gone through what they went through last year and finishing the season and then going to the bubble in Edmonton, I think they'll have learned a lot from that.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Chris Pronger is not a captain. He's not a general manager. He's not a coach. He's not a defenseman. He's not cross-checking people. He is not a mean guy anymore. He's a well-inspired traveler. Matter of fact, he runs well-inspired travels. Will you explain to me what you're doing, Prongs, please?
Yeah, sure. My wife started a boutique luxury travel company. It's been a passion of hers and ours for a long time. And, she came to me with this idea, 10, 12 years ago. The timing wasn't right with 3 young kids. And then obviously my health issues and her mother and father having health issues. So the timing wasn't right. A few years ago, she came to me and wanted to kind of kick the tires and see if she could get this started and off the ground. And as I started watching her put the pieces together, I got a little excited myself, and having worked in the front office in with the National Hockey League and then with the Florida Panthers, had kind of seen and done that side of things, and this was a passion of mine and something that I've always wanted to do in running a business and being my own maker and grow something from the ground up, and partnering with her and being able to spend more time at home and obviously with our kids as they continue to get older. Our oldest is heading off to school next year to SMU. So, we've got one less kid in the house. And I think that has kind of played into wanting to get a business off the ground as well. And we're going to have a lot of free time and able to really dedicate ourselves to the business and growing it the way we want to.
So where have you guys gone? Where are you taking people?
We travel, we send people across the globe. Obviously with COVID, that has pretty much gone the way of the dodo bird. And, we're sending a lot of people to domestic destinations, Mexico, Caribbean, as the COVID protocols allow us to. But, soon enough here with a vaccine on the horizon and answers, hopefully in the next few months as to how that'll work for everyone. We'll start seeing some people traveling across the pond, so to speak, and heading over to Europe and Asia and South Pacific and some of those great places that we all know and love.
And the most important question, where are we going?
Where would you like to go, Dan?
Well, I like to fish.
They say is your oyster.
I like to fish, Prongs. What do you got?
I've got, do you want ocean fishing, river fishing, lake fishing? Yes.
Yes.
I'll put a package together for you.
So that's what you do. You're putting packages together for everybody.
That's right. One of the many things. Yes. Whether it's packages, whether it's in discussion with families and loved ones trying to figure out their next spring break, summer, festive, whatever it is, just a weekend getaway. We're talking to people all the time about different opportunities and things that they're interested in, and things that they might not know about that all of a sudden piques their interest, and off they go.
About 10 seconds left. Will you get back in hockey at some point, you think?
Nope.
Not
However, I will say never, but I don't foresee that happening.
Hey, Prongs, great to see you. Keep up the great work, and good to see you in great health, too.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Danny. Take care.
Coming up, what does Bernie Miklasz think about the upcoming season for the St. Louis Blues? We'll talk it over with the longtime sports columnist. Scoops with Danny Mac is brought to you by Blue Tail Medical Group, Royal Banks of Missouri, Hair Saloon for Men, and Triad Bank. Welcome back to ScoopsWithDannyMac.com on Fox Channel 2. A reminder, there's daily content on ScoopsWithDannyMac.com. Podcasts, features, articles, daily bits from my guest, and that is Bernie Miklasz, formerly of the Post-Dispatch, currently the featured writer on ScoopsWithDannyMac.com. Well, Bernie, it's a 56-game regular season. It's a race to the finish. The Blues are in one of the most competitive divisions in all the National Hockey League. I'm excited to have you on Scoops with Danny Mac. What are your thoughts on what this season looks like for the St. Louis Blues?
Dan, I'm really excited about the Blues. I think they're loaded. I think obviously the addition of Mike Hoffman, who's an elite offensive player in this league, is like a bonus right before the season. I mean, no other team could add a talent like this, like basically on the eve of the season. There's a great mix of veterans, youth, speed, toughness, guys that have won before, guys that are still hungry. I think the whole team's hungry based on the early departure last year. And we know they're well coached, and we know they have a front office that'll go out and make something happen should they need some help along the way. So I think the Blues are in prime position to have a really great run during this 56-game schedule.
You wrote about this earlier in the week, the fact that they have depth. We don't know with any of these teams how COVID-19 will affect any of these franchises, but you feel that depth really could be a huge key for the St. Louis Blues in this 2021 campaign.
Yeah, Dan, I think that it's the strength of the team because they have 15 forwards, and all of these guys are legit. All of these guys, under normal circumstances, or I should say with it on a roster that is not as deep as this, would have a regular spot in the lineup, one of the four lines. And that's even before the Blues get Vladimir Tarasenko back, which hopefully will be sooner than later. So I think they're loaded. To me, they have more than enough to fill those voids that just happened during the season through the wear and tear of the schedule.
When you look at what could be a concern for the Blues, what concerns you going into this season?
Well, I think that number one, the defense, even though they have a lot of players and a lot of talented players, they have a lot of right-handed defensemen, and they've balanced that out to an extent, almost to the point where they have maybe too many left-handed, and that seems like something that is not a big deal, and really it isn't, but that's the point. They're so deep that they can pretty much cover any type of cavity that forms during the season. But I'll tell you the number one concern, you can call it the X factor, and I know some people will think I'm nuts, which probably I am, is that I got to see Jordan Binnington. I got to see him, and whether we're going to talk about seeing the return of the 2018-19 Jordan Binnington, or will there be more inconsistency? Good game, bad game, good game, bad game. What will he be? And I think he's the key to the whole thing. And I should really expand that and say the goaltending tandem is the key to the whole thing. Because when Jordan Binnington hit rough patches, Jake Allen was there to back him up, and he had his back. Jake Allen in this arrangement, was a superb number 2 goaltender. We don't know enough about Ville Husso. I mean, he has talent. There's no doubt about it. I know the Blues like him a lot, but we haven't seen him in the National Hockey League.
I'll wrap it up with this, Bernie. You miss now Bouwmeester, Steen. Obviously, Petro is in Vegas. How do you fill those those shoes? How do you fill those skates, if you will, if you're the St. Louis Blues?
I think we're talking about a new generation of leaders. And let's be honest. I mean, with a Ryan O'Reilly, with no disrespect to Alex Pietrangelo, Ryan O'Reilly, in effect, served as a co-captain. I mean, he always, of course, deferred to Pietrangelo, but you know this. I mean, Ryan O'Reilly is revered in that locker room. I mean, he is a guy that commands more respect than anybody. It's one thing if you lose a Pietrangelo and Steen, and from a leadership standpoint, a character standpoint, that does matter. And maybe that would be the one question a lot of people would have. But I just look at the guys waiting to assume more of a leadership role, and I think that the Blues are in good hands. I really do.
Hey, Bernie, thanks for joining us on this Sunday night. For Bernie Miklasz and the Hall of Famers, Bernie Federko and Chris Pronger. That does it for this edition of Scoops with Danny Mac. I got to say, by the way, the bits are back on scoopswithdannymac.com. So many people are happy that they are back. So, Bernie, thank you very, very much for that. We'll see you next Sunday on Fox Channel 2.